So supposedly it landed on top of Mount Ararat, and here's the art scroll. Mount Ararat was the world's highest mountain at the time of the flood, and the waters rose to 15 cubits above it. The numerous mountains that are now far higher than Ararat came into being or bulged up to their present height as a result of the upheavals of the flood.
The result of the what of the flood?
The upheavals of the flood.
Okay.
Thus, even those who climbed to the highest mountain peaks to escape the violent waters found nowhere else to flee and drowned. In addition, the upheaval of those months of intense heat and turmoil caused a great shifting and turning of geological strata and a deep burial of animal remains. Thus, the attempt to date the Earth and fossils is futile, for no one can know how much the heat and water pressure affected the geology of the planet and animal and plant remains. So do you think that it's like futile to try to date fossil remains?
Well,
you can discuss while I...
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's a little shout out to my friend David Klinghoffer. I'm surprised that the art scroll goes there. That is an argument in some ways against evolution, or plainly against evolution, because it's arguing that all our techniques for understanding the age of life on Earth and the age of the Earth itself are silly, and so that the young Earth hypothesis is plausible. I guess a big segment of orthodoxy is really in agreement with evangelical Christianity on this. I personally don't buy it, but you know.
So you think we can still have a go at trying to date these fossil remains, even though we had the flood and that?
Well, this is the funny thing. I mean, how would I know? I mean, I've certainly read plenty on the topic, but ultimately I'm trusting the authority of the community of scholars or academics when they say no, nuclear dating and radiocarbon dating and are solid techniques for dating the Earth itself, and that these other techniques we have for assessing kind of the archaeological record are legit. I don't know enough to say that they're right or wrong. I just kind of accepted it, based on their authority. My guess is that they are right, but of course I would think that.
So why are modern Orthodox Jews using this commentary? Why can't the modern Orthodox get their stuff together and do their own commentary? I mean, anyone who's studied geology knows that this is nonsense. So why can't the modern Orthodox get together and do their own Chumash?
Right. Well, that's what I was saying.
Instead of relying on the Charedim to do everything for them, while the modern Orthodox waste their time.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying as well when I said I'm surprised that, because this is a very influential Chumash. I mean, people really use it, and the fact that which is Haredi, I mean, which is that's, like I said, that's a shout out to David Klinghoffer. That's a shout out to I mean, that's right in line with evangelical Christianity. You could get that right out of an evangelical Christian interpretation of the same line. So that's not really representative of most of, I think, even Orthodox Judaism, much less modern Orthodoxy, right?
Yeah, did you read Michael Weiss's blog post on Juicy about how when he worked for Commentary Magazine, he wasn't allowed to use the term fossil remains?
Yes, I knew that.
Because it offended...
Already, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's outrageous.
Well, he didn't put it out there.
That's outrageous that Commentary Magazine will not use the term fossil remains because they don't want to outrage their Christian financial supporters.
I haven't been checking Juicy recently, but did he just put that up recently?
A week or so ago.
Yeah. Michael, I remember when it happened. It's shocking. And I remember saying that this was yet another death knell for commentary, because it shows
how craven.
Yes.
So they will do that so as to not alienate their fundamentalist Christian supporters. They will not mention fossil remains
and that is so. It is so lickspittle. It is such a compromising of their traditional kind of.
What kind of intellectual integrity is that?
None. They've got. I mean, I don't read commentary anymore. This is part of the reason. To get to that point, they've got very little intellectual integrity left, if any. And to be honest, it's not just this. They wrote this kind of syrupy, saccharine like love piece to the Saudi dynasty a while back, where Joshua Moravchik, one of the big commentators, went there, and it was like this pitiful little travel log about the great time he had in Saudi Arabia. And I was like, good Lord, this is exactly what commentary had always fought against when the left would send people over to the Soviet Union. Well, I went there, and sure, they talk about famines, but I met this guy, and he sort of seemed great. It's pitiful. I mean, commentaries become sort of pathetic.
I like the magazine. I like Ruth Weiss, and I like many of the people in it. But I was so disappointed to read this. Kind of reminds me when the LA Times put out an edict that none of its bloggers could write about the John Edwards affair scandal,
right?
Because of the quality of the publication that broke the story, the National Enquirer, and that their own reporters were looking into it and found nothing. So, well, it's like if I was a blogger. You couldn't muzzle me and tell me I couldn't write about John Edwards' affair story. And if I was working for commentary, you couldn't muzzle me and say I couldn't use fossil remains. I'd tell you to get stuffed, and I'd lose my job at both places.
But it would be a job worth losing.
Yeah.
Certainly in the fossil... The LA Times thing is like... That's bad enough. But the fossil remains thing for commentary, to me, that's that's like a selling of the soul. The LA Times thing is pretentious and obnoxious, but the commentary thing is like dirty. Like it's just dirty. So yes, I agree with you. I'll shake your hand as well. But I feel like the modern Orthodox, because I have a lot of respect for the modern Orthodox. I've met I just have had a lot of positive, I guess, interactions with people from that tradition or whatever. So yes, I would think that they're using this with a commentary like that in the modern Orthodox shul or whatever. It just seems like they can do better.
Yeah, I mean, modern Orthodox, we try to have a patina of rationality and a patina of looking for truth, and a patina of seeking truth, and so.
And in my experience, maybe it's because I don't have enough experience, but it's been more than a patina. There are people who are really there are a lot of people there who really seem. They don't supplicate. They really look. They try to find it. They're aggressive in their pursuit of truth. And this seems using. I don't know. Maybe this is just the best they think they can do right now, or something. I mean,
So after the ark lands one more thing, when they go on the ark, because it says and Noah with his sons went on the ark and then their wives, the Talmudic rabbis say that meant that there was no cohabitation going on between man and wife on the ark, because it was so sad, all the world was being destroyed, and so man and wife couldn't hook up on the ark.
Because they were sad?
Yeah, because it was such a downer of a time.
That doesn't make sense to me. Making love is a celebration of life. It's at these moments where you really go at it, right? I mean, among others.
I mean, they're always trying to stop you from hooking up. The man has always got his foot on your genitals.
Oh, well, his foot isn't allowed there. Yeah.
It's like, God comes down and says, don't go near your wives for 3 days before giving the 10 Commandments.
Oh, right.
And it's and then there's the 2 weeks. So let's say your wife is Anita, you've just gone she's impure, unclean. So she's gone 2 weeks with that, and you're about to reunite, and then God comes down and say, hey, hold off for 3 more days, because I'm going to come down with the 10 Commandments. And
you're really getting into dangerous territory there when you tell a man how to not lie with his wife.
But on the other hand, it probably keeps some sexual excitement in the marriage, because if you can just go at it any time.
Right.
I mean, I can speak from personal experience. I get pretty bored with that activity after a couple of months.
Right, okay.
So I can't even imagine.
Fair enough.
20 years, unless you put up. The only thing for a lot of my relationships that could have possibly restored excitement to that activity was don't do it.
Right, right. But there's a difference between, but then you have to decide that. If I come in front of you and your lady friend and you're having sex too much, and I go, Luke, you're not allowed to have sex with your girl for 2 weeks, and you're like, all right, well, shit. That's not good for the relationship either. That's not very, you can decide that on your own, but you don't. One guy, whether it's
God or Moses.
God or Moses or whoever walking in and telling you how to sleep with your wife,